Anything I can't ask you about?
No, you can ask me everything.
How does it feel to be back here?
You can ask me anything.
Doesn't mean you're going to get an answer.
No, I really had, even when we moved back in here like 13 months ago, I had a real mixed feelings. Just to me, I mean, it's kind of like when you close that chapter, you want to get on to the next one. You don't necessarily, it's like, moving back to your mom's basement or something after you graduated college or whatever. It's just, it didn't have the same vibe as Cummins Station. You were at Cummins Station.
Yeah.
We specifically wanted an open, creative space. And here we're like in this little, tiny, sequestered offices. And it's just, it's a means to an end, I suppose. But no.
And the plan going forward with that is?
Get out of Dodge. Get out of here as soon as possible, as soon as we can, I mean, this has always been just a stopgap. I mean, we would have still been at Cummins Station had the landlords, decided to re-up our lease instead of kicking us out. But, they didn't up our lease. Las Calaveras coming out in May, TAA exclusive in June, and then in July we'll debut the 4th regular production brand, which is brand new.
Okay. So, can you tell us the name on that one yet?
Can't do that.
Oh, okay.
See, this is the part that sucks.
That's okay. That's okay. Hey, I had to ask.
It's like I got a secret.
I had to ask.
I hate being coy, but yeah.
So that's your roadmap for the next few months. Can you tell us anything on the record for what's going on for the rest of the year and going forward?
Once we get through the trade show, well, even before we go to the trade show, I'm probably going to go back down to the factories, start working on a limited edition for J.D. Howard Reserve, which will be out in the 4th quarter. I'll work on that with Ernie. And then I also want to work on a Tennessee exclusive just for the Tennessee retailers, just to kind of give back a little bit to our home state. And then there's a couple of retailer exclusives that we've got lined up.
Okay.
So.
3 years ago, I guess that's the first tweet up, you said, we're not a clothing manufacturer. We're not going to do merch.
As last night we launched our merch shop. Yeah, okay. Go ahead. What's the question?
So, how has that evolved?
The merchandising aspect of it, the hats, the shirts, the hoodies, I've always really enjoyed that aspect of it as an adjunct to the cigar business. And so, we started off like the 4 Kicks hats and the Crown Heads hats. We started getting, weekly emails and sometimes daily emails. Where can I get one of the hats? Where can I get one of the hats? Almost always I would say, just send me your address, I'll send you one. Or we, give it out to the retailers for events, what have you. So it just got to the point where we kept getting so many of those requests. So let's just at least put an online store up. So if somebody wants to have it, they know a place that they can get it, and we can point them in that direction. So we always kind of wanted to do one-off things with the merchandise. Like we wouldn't just do a 4 Kicks hat and then you have that, or a Crown Heads hat and it's, order that. So it was constantly like I'd order a batch of this color, maybe I change it with this color, then I'll do this, I'll tweak the design, da 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 da. So it's just kind of fun for us. So we ended up putting the online store, like I think it was Wednesday night, like at 5 o'clock, and like within the first 24 hours we had like 40 orders. It was ridiculous. And I was just like, I had no idea.
And you're doing it as a limited edition.
Yeah, they're all limited edition pieces. So, they're one and done. I mean, it's like I can tell you right now we've got 8 hoodies left. I'll probably have like a couple dozen of the, the gas jockey snapback hat, and a couple dozen of the foam mesh truckers, and then we have more stuff coming in about 3 weeks. Got a brand new 4 Kicks hat coming in, brand new hat for Las Calaveras. Again, limited when they're one and done, and then we'll have another round of merchandise behind it. So
nice.
Still not a clothing store though. Back then when we first started, like the majority of 2011 was spent really traveling and trying to find that fit that you're talking about. And once we had opportunities to meet with a lot of different people, and a lot of people were very gracious to help us out, say, hey, we would like to do this for you, we would like to do this for you. But when we kind of came back and digested it all, we really felt like what was important initially is to go somewhere where we could kind of stand out and create our own identity in the way that we like to approach making cigars. So it didn't make sense for us to go into a house that had 6, 7, 8 brands at that time. So Ernie had never done a contract brand before, and so he was kind enough to take us in. And so then we came out with 4 Kicks, then Hadley Grange, and then J.D. Howard Reserve, and a couple of limited editions in between all that. So I thought at this point we've kind of gotten to a playing field where it's like, okay, we know who these guys are. So now it'd be kind of fun to go into a studio and record with another producer instead of just one guy. So we went back to the Garcia family, who was one of the factors we talked to in 2011, and said, would you be interested in doing something? And they were like, yeah, it's like a continuation of the conversation we had in 2011. And they welcomed us with open arms, and the rest is history, I guess. So. Okay. I kind of guess if we, you kind of look at the evolution of it and see how quickly it's grown. And like I just said, we've been shipping for like 30 months. The first 8 months we really took time to find the right factory. So it hasn't been that long, and we haven't had an advertising budget. We haven't really advertised. We haven't had a sales force per se. We've had West now for like the last 13 months. We got a few brokers in the last 8 months. So a lot of that just came from grassroots, social media, word of mouth, and the product. I always kind of felt my philosophy when we started it was, if you have a good product, it'll catch on. And I go back to like Pete's example of Tatuaje in 2003. He had this cigar that nobody could even pronounce, high price point, no advertising. But as soon as I smoked it, and as soon as everybody smoked it, it was like, wow, you got something here. This is a great product. Here he is 11 years later, and the thing's, one of the best cigars out there. So I always felt like if we could put together the right cigars and start with the focus being about the product and not all the other sizzle that surrounds it, if we could just focus on tobacco and focus on good cigars, I think, we kind of felt that we should be where we're at now. Because I have yet to do an in-store event for Crowned Heads, and I've made a commitment that I won't. And it's just, the only reason, it's not that I'm trying to be difficult about it, but the philosophy, again, going back to 2011, was always about building brands and not personalities. I didn't want to build equity into a personality. I wanted to build equity into the brands. So to me, the less visible I am, the more visible the products will be. And, I think that's, I don't know if it's the right way to do it, but it's the way that we want to do it. And, could we be further along if I was out doing buy 3, get 1s and signing boxes? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, who knows? But it's just not the way we wanted to approach the business.
The anti-personality brand.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny, because I have retailers that, Wes tells me this stuff, and he'll say, I talked to so-and-so, and hey, how's he doing? He says, oh, he's doing really good. He says, you don't know what you're doing, and that you're doing this all wrong. I said, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, oh, and he placed a 14-box order. Here you go. So, it's like I get this all the time. Like, oh, no, you have to. You don't understand. You have to go do events. You have to do it. I don't have to do anything, man. It's like, this is the way we're doing it. If you like it and you understand it and respect it, great. If you don't, then we're not a good match for each other, period. So it's just a different philosophy, a different ideology of approaching the business. And someday, hopefully we'll have equity in these brands, and we'll have something that we've actually created and built that has a foundation, as opposed to, oh, you got to go to this store to try to push this many boxes. And the problem with a lot of that is, if a certain person goes into a store, and they sell 40, 50 boxes because they're there, they leave the store, and then what happens to the product? It's almost like forgotten.
Yeah.
It's like this interesting new retail model. I've talked to different retailers, and I said, well, what's moving good for you? He goes, well, whoever comes in and sells, that's what moves for us. So and so comes in, and their brands are here, and we sell that. Then he leaves, the next guy comes in, we sell that. That's what we focus on. Oh, really? So how do you educate your customer? To me, a good tobacconist is one that brings you in, talks to you about different tobaccos, explains what are you looking for in the flavor profile. Well, let me direct you to this one. Let me try this. That's the job of the tobacconist, not the brand owner to come in and explain all that and sell product for the retailer.
Right.
It's not, our job is to make the best products that we can. The retailer's job is to educate the consumer, and the consumer supports the brands that they choose. To me, I think it's pretty simple, but I see less and less of that, and more of a retailer just wanting to bring in a cigar personality, get a plate of chicken wings and a couple Hooter girls. Okay, go ahead, do your business and sell it. I mean, is that a tobacconist? You know?
Really?
By accident, by necessity and accident, because I just didn't have any money. It's like I couldn't go out and spend $30,000 on a page in Cigar Aficionado magazine, not because I don't think it's worth it or because I don't think it's a good spend, but I just didn't have the money for it. So 10 years from now, I'm living with my wife on the beach, I'm painting and I'm playing the saxophone or something ridiculous like that, smoking cigars and drinking wine.
We'll scale it back 3 years then.
Okay, well, let's bring it back just a little bit then. And
I'm still, I still got a ways to go. I mean, but shoot, who doesn't want to have that? There's got to be an end,
Sure.
a means to
Right.
the end, right? You just can't just
Enjoy life.
Yeah, there's more to life than selling cigars.
Sure.
We're doing this for a reason, to secure our futures and to provide for our families. But I mean, I know what you're getting at in the short run, but I'd like to, the next step would be to add more people in terms of sales support, because we've been successful and fortunate to open 500 stores. But if you can't service 500 stores, what's the point of having them? And with Wes, he's great, but Wes can't be in all places at all the time. So we're kind of slowly trying to figure out how we can get more people, dedicated to Crown Heads to kind of go out there and take care of these people that are supporting us. So that to me is the next step, is trying to get more feet on the pavement for us and really kind of spread the gospel according to Crown Heads the way we want to do it.